Did you know that an estimated 553,000 have nowhere to lay their heads on any given night in America? That's literally the amount of a small city's population. In this video, we'll be looking at the unimaginably harsh lives many Americans have been forced to live, the causes of homelessness, the consequences, and just how involved the government has been in tackling this pressing issue. I'm also going to reveal potential solutions surrounding this sad situation America has found itself in. How do you feel when you see a homeless person on your street? Do you get angry and wish such people be removed from society? Or you get frightened and try to be as far away from them as much as you can? Probably you feel compassion and wish you could help improve their situation. By the end of this video, you'll learn what it is these people truly go through. The pains of living in a society where you feel unwanted, when all you want is to have a decent life, but the odds are simply not in your favor. Right now, let's take a look at what is responsible for America's homelessness crisis. There are several factors responsible for the homeless state of thousands of Americans, and I'm going to show you what these factors are in the next couple of minutes. First cause is the exorbitant housing costs in the state. No surprise there. Housing prices are literally killing Americans. The lack of affordable housing options coupled with rapidly rising rents has rendered housing unattainable for many individuals and families. As a result, people find themselves unable to afford stable housing, pushing them into homelessness. Over the years, prices of goods and services have risen without any sign of a future decrease. Income of most American households has remained the same, and this is keeping them just one step away from poverty. A good number of people who are homeless aren't that way because they're lazy and refuse to work, or they have some mental problems. No, they've got jobs and they're earning between minimum wage, but they can't afford a good home with that income. The fact that America is a tourist center makes it even difficult for locals to afford rent because the city has become one of the most expensive places to live in. Another reason for the rising homelessness is the gap between citizens. The gap between the rich and the poor continues to widen, which makes it increasingly difficult for low-income individuals and families to secure affordable housing. As the cost of living continues to rise, the most vulnerable members of society are left struggling to make ends meet. More often than not, they end up on the street with all they own on earth stuffed in a trolley. If that doesn't paint a sad picture for you, I wonder what will. To make matters complicated for these unfortunate people, there are laws refusing homeless people from staying in certain locations. I'll show you how the government has made it illegal to be homeless in a couple of minutes. You can imagine how that sounds. No one likes sleeping out on the street. Lack of job opportunities is another cause of homelessness in America. Many employers require a high school diploma, some college experience, or even a full bachelor's degree before they'll hire an employee. But this isn't practical or right. If there were barriers to education like an undiagnosed learning disorder or poor childhood support structure, it'd be impossible to get a degree. This ultimately sentences such a person to be jobless. If that person doesn't have someone to provide them dependable shelter as an adult, they often go without a traditional home. In the next few minutes, you'll discover how much suffering the homeless go through. Mental health problems, such as depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, substance abuse disorders, and other conditions can contribute to homelessness as well. Limited access to mental health services and the high cost of treatment only worsen the issue. Substance abuse and addiction can contribute to homelessness by straining personal relationships, leading to job loss, and draining financial resources. Individuals struggling with addiction often face challenges in accessing treatment and support services. Now we'll be diving into some of the consequences and challenges that being homeless causes for Americans. Homelessness has serious consequences not just for individuals alone, but communities do not escape the effects of it. Homeless individuals face a range of hardships, including limited access to healthcare, increased vulnerability to violence and exploitation, and challenges in finding stable employment. Not having a permanent address can make it difficult for them to access important social services. Let's elaborate on these drawbacks before I show you how communities become affected by this homeless epidemic sweeping across the state. Limited access to healthcare. Even mentioning this at all is a slap to those who suffer homelessness. They are unable to get shelter, which is the primary need of man. So how are they expected to get access to health care that is so expensive? Even Americans who are doing better on average find it difficult to cope with the cost of health care. So, they would either ignore health challenges or travel to cheaper countries where they can get the services for free, like in Mexico. You can check out my previous videos where I talk about how Americans are dealing with a terrible economy by literally leaving the country. If you're enjoying this video so far, please let me know in the comments section, as it would mean a lot to me. Alright, now we see that in addition to being homeless, these people have health challenges that they leave unattended due to the cost. The next point is increased vulnerability and exploitation. It is a sad life the homeless go through. They are harassed daily as they go about their business. Not having a proper place to stay exposes them to crimes, which can be violent. I mean, security is already a serious concern for those who have a home. How terrible would it be for those who sleep outside in the open? Sadly, society does not see the homeless as people who have fundamental human rights and should be taken seriously, and this makes it so easy to take advantage of them. The homeless will hardly report a crime that happened to them because of questions that may follow, which could land them in trouble. So, they dust themselves up and continue living regardless of what has happened to them, not wanting to be a bother. Is the government doing anything to protect the interest of these people? We'll find out shortly. Lastly, let's see how being homeless makes it hard to get a job. Being homeless attracts a certain prejudice from the public. Many people would naturally want to avoid them because of misconceptions. For any reason why a person is homeless, a person still has needs. They've got to eat and take care of other needs. To achieve these, they'd need work. And when they find it difficult to get one, it worsens an already bad situation. The mental health of these people gets a rude punch, and when they become a menace in the society, the fault can't be said to be completely theirs. Let's see how communities get affected by the homelessness of their citizens. Communities get to be affected by the presence of large homeless populations. For one, public health concerns arise due to unsanitary living conditions. Surely you've seen how the homeless live, the type of environment they stay in. Many have no proper way to dispose of their waste, and they end up dumping it in sites where it is illegal and could end up causing the spread of diseases. They could urinate and defecate right on the sidewalk, in gutters, and empty waste in storm drains. All these are actions that can pose a serious health challenge for the community. Another way communities get to be affected is felt in their economy. Tourists will avoid places where the homeless reside due to safety concerns. Local businesses will prefer cleaner locations to establish their business and not one that'll send customers running the other way. In the same way, property values can be negatively affected in places known to have many homeless individuals. Easy to say that homelessness is costing America a lot of money. The government is aware of this painful fact, and they've taken some measures to combat homelessness. Many of these measures haven't been successful though. Emergency shelters are one of the government's solutions to the homelessness crisis. These shelters have been established to provide immediate relief and protection to those experiencing homelessness, and a considerable number of Americans make use of them. Transitional housing programs are another of the government's initiatives to combat homelessness. These programs offer temporary accommodations coupled with supportive services to help individuals transition to more stable housing situations. This is necessary because it isn't enough to give people homes. They need ways to be transitioned back into society, and one of such ways is by helping those with mental illness and giving them jobs. Permanent supportive housing is yet another way the government is fighting homelessness. This initiative combines affordable housing with supportive services like counseling and healthcare, and focuses on efforts to provide long-term solutions. The Housing First policy is one such solution. This policy recognizes that a person without a home needs a home first, before other considerations. It makes houses available to the homeless without any requirements. Besides the government's involvement in dealing with this problem, different organizations are working tirelessly to provide shelter and support for the homeless. If you liked this video, the algorithm thinks you'll like the next. Solving America's homelessness requires a comprehensive approach that involves collaboration between government agencies, nonprofits, and community organizations. Strategies should include not only immediate relief, but also long-term solutions that address the root causes of homelessness, such as affordable housing, accessible healthcare, and income support programs. The state's high housing costs, income inequality, among others, are areas that should be looked at again. By working together, America can strive towards a future where homelessness is reduced and every individual has access to safe and stable housing.